Thank you for joining us again this week on World of Art on Ogtv. How is your new week going? Did you have a great day today? I mean, it's still very much a busy day for us here at Ogtv, and we bring you greetings. This is where we bring you experienced artists, and together we take a close look at the various branches of visual arts and how it affects our everyday lives. My name is Miriam Usman. This is brought to you by Prince Yemisi Shilon, legal practitioner, Africa's largest private art collector, grand donor and chairman of council, Yemisi Shilon Museum of Art. The program will be back after this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching World of Art on Ogtv. Well, you already saw the clip, so you already know what we have for you on the program today. But just before we go ahead with the program for you today, let me quickly remind you that World of Art has been streamed across all of our social medias. If you need to reach out to the guest on the program, please send your messages to our social media platforms. And shortly the phone line will be open. Please, when you call, try as much as you can to turn down the volume of your TV set. It's time to meet our guest. Today we have been joined by Olatubosu Ojo. He is a painter, a serigraph printer, and also into general printing. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
You know, your work is amazing. You have very beautiful work, but then again, there's just a lot into what you do. In fact, I'm more excited about what we're going to talk about because this is the first time I have a serigraph printer on the program. So let's start with you telling us, what is serigraph printing? And for a moment, I was trying to picture how serigraph is an art. Well, we have you here today, so you're going to take us through it. I know a lot of people watching right now might not really know there's a name for things like that. So let's start out. What is serigraph printing, or what is serigraph? Let's start with serigraph as a whole now.
Okay, thank you so much. Before I can talk about serigraph prints, I need to mention printmaking. So serigraph prints is just a process, a technique under printmaking. Because apart from serigraph, we also have other technique under printmaking. We have lithography, we have wood cuts, we have deep etching, and so on and so forth. So serigraph or serigraph printing is a process.
Just a branch.
It's just a branch in printmaking. It's a mass production process of producing artwork in printmaking. So the motive is just to mass produce artworks for the audience.
All right, so I'm going to ask you again, how is serigraph printing relating to art? You know, I see this beautiful work behind me. I just take it that it's a painting. Now let's break it down. How does one know that this thing is not just an artwork, it is a serigraph art or serigraph print?
Okay, it's very simple. Though, if you put serigraph prints and paint it together,
yes,
at times it might be difficult to differentiate, especially the way I handle my own serigraph prints. My own way of handling serigraph prints is different from others, if I may put it that way, because I always make sure that my serigraph prints really relate with painting. For example, like my own work behind me here, I have the painting in my studio right now as I'm talking.
This particular
Exactly. I have the painting, but I have 10 copies of this. So I mass produce my painting to get my serigraph prints. So like this one behind me now, I printed it on canvas cloth or canvas material. I can as well print it on a watercolor paper. So what I usually do is that to study the painting and break it down, I have the plates. It can be like from 10 to 15. I have the plates like that. So I break it down, then I separate it, then I expose my artwork, then I go ahead and print. And I can have different skin of it. I can produce yellow skin, maybe like 20, and when I've exhausted that, I can as well go ahead and make it to be red skin as well. It depends.
So to have a serigraph printed work, they need to be a masterpiece. They need to be an original.
Exactly.
Where you get your copies from.
Exactly.
Now, my next question is, doesn't this look like, photocopy or plagiarism? Because I know you, as serigraph printers, you get to print other people's artists, other people's work.
Okay.
Now, do you some sort of need permission from these people before you reprint their work? Because you are making copies. For instance, this particular one, as a serigraph printer, you can mass produce like 200 copies.
Exactly.
Which an artist that made this might not be able to do the 200 copies a year. So
exactly.
Doesn't that look like you are trying to duplicate one's work? And that's a bit dicey.
Okay, that is a good question. Well, there is a trend towards that. For example, like Professor Buzon, if I can mention his name here. Yes, I've been handling his work for about close to 23 years now, or 24 years. Yes, most of the time, he's painting in the 60s and early 70s. He always give it to me to produce. Now, before I go ahead, he gives me permission. Yes, he will say, okay, you are producing 50, you are producing 100, and it's always on commission basis. So we have an agreement that you shouldn't produce more than 30. So I will never go beyond that 30. So when I'm through with that, if you have sold all this work, he will call me again that, okay, I don't want red skin now, I want purple skin. We go ahead, based on agreement.
So is the value attached to the original, like this particular one on the screen right now, is a serigraph printing, but you have the original work.
Yes.
Now, is the value of the original work the same value for this serigraph printing? For instance, if the original work is sold for, say, 200,000, and you have to make a serigraph copy of it, is it going to be sold for the same price? I mean, this is not like a fresh work like the artist is doing it originally. Yes.
Okay, this is how it goes. It's very simple. In fact, if you go with serigraph prints, you get more money or more funds than painting. For example, if I have an artwork or a masterpiece and I want to sell the work for like 500,000, good. Now, the same artwork, if I should mass produce like 200 or 300, and you are selling each print like 30,000, if you calculate it, you see that you get more money in prints. That is one. Secondly, you can have different scheme of the same artwork.
When you say scheme, what are you referring to?
I'm talking about colors.
Oh.
For example, maybe I'm printing now, the color that is dominating is purple. Like 30. If I've sold all the 30 works, I want to still reproduce the same artwork. I can go to red, the same artwork, but color scheme. So in printmaking, you get color scheme, you have color scheme. You can, that is one of the advantage that it has above painting. Then another purpose is that many collectors or many art lovers can have access to your work, to a particular artwork.
To a particular artwork.
Like sending my painting, it can go to an individual or an institution. But printmaking or serigraphy, as many people can have access to it, and you can control it by signing it or numbering it.
So I have this amazing, beautiful work that I'd love to give out, but because there's no multiple copies of it, I can take it to a serigrapher to make copies of it. Now, still talking about the value attached to the original work, is the serigraph printed version now, does it have the same material as the original one? For instance, we have some works that are made of mixed media, where you get to use different materials to make an artwork. Is the serigraph printed version also going to have these materials, or is it just going to be play with colors? Now, so that brings me to the question, what do you use for your printed serigraph work?
Okay, that's a good question. Well, For example, if I'm looking at a mass production, mixed media, and I want to turn it to serigraph prints.
Yes, you do mixed media serigraph prints.
Definitely. My own is to get the picture, get the artwork, and I will go ahead with my work. It's very simple. In serigraph prints, we have our own material that we use. Normally, if I'm using canvas or fabric as my basis on which the prints will be made on, yes, I will use fabric ink. We use fabric ink. If it's watercolor, at times I can use watercolor ink. I can use textfast ink, and I can use other inks that are, go in line with the fabric ink. So the major thing is that we mass produce, then we get the exact or actual picture of the actual work we reproduce, but with our own material, that is the serigraph prints material or ink.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, so, those include inks and your canvas.
Canvas, and times we print on watercolor paper, and those watercolor paper are very expensive. They are, they are imported. Then we can as well print on canvas. Like the one behind me is printed on canvas. It's printed on canvas, and I have about 10 of it, of what? So, like this one, I can still, when I'm through with the selling of the artworks, I can still go ahead with another color scheme. You understand?
You could change, for instance, you could change the color of this one to green, yellow, okay? So that's one of the benefits of serigraph.
Exactly.
But now, for the purchase of it, you sell it out now. Do you sell it at the same price as you sell the original copies of it now?
No. Now, when you are selling serigraph prints, it's lesser to the painting, because painting is a masterpiece.
It's a masterpiece.
You can't get the two of it. When you are selling painting, you are selling. But now the price has to come down a little bit. The price has to come down a little bit. But the advantage of it is that you are selling multiple pieces. You are selling multiple pieces. So definitely you are going to get more income than selling the masterpiece. Then another advantage is that it's getting to wider audience.
Okay, I think we have a caller. Thank you, Kate, for joining us on the program. Hello? You have a question for us?
Yes.
Okay, please, Kate, call us back. So you were saying something, sir, just before now.
Yes.
You're taking us through the materials?
Yes, the materials, then the value in terms of pricing now. So definitely, the pricing, the serigraph prints is going to be lesser because you have multiple, or you have mass production of it. But then you can as well sell 200, 300. It depends on the request from it. You understand? So that is just one of the advantages it has above painting. Then to my friends or any artist, I'm available for them to bring some of their paintings. Even there are some paintings, there are some paintings that we artists, we have lost. Some of us, we have taken our house to gallery that we cannot even trace the artworks. But if you have the picture, you can still have your artwork with you.
So I guess my next question would be, who are your first-hand customers? Is it the artists themselves that make this masterpiece, or art collectors or art lovers? Because for someone who is not into art as per se, can they be able to identify a serigraphed work and an original work? For instance, I would see this and think it's the original masterpiece.
Okay.
Yes. So who are your customers? Do you first have, or your clients? Do you first have these artists as the people you work with first before?
All of the above. Whether art lovers, whether my colleagues, and whatsoever, all of them, they are my clients. For example, let me start with my colleague. I have Professor Bruce Onobakbeya. Yes. So most of his paintings, I have been doing that for him on commission basis. I have Dr. Okunle Adeyemi to mention few. Then I have art lovers. I have art collectors that have collected my works from maybe about 20 years ago that have been into serigraph prints now. I have some of them. Even some that comes to my studio or my gallery, they could see them hanging on the walls and they request for it.
The next I'm going to ask you is, when we talk about art, a lot of people want to focus their energy on painting, textile, sculpting. But this is one unique aspect of art that I think we need to explore as a society. And we have you on the program today. You're taking us through it. You've been in the practice for how long?
For 27 years now.
27 years. Now let's come to the finances now. Okay. How do you make your money? Is it really lucrative?
Yes, it's lucrative, but I thank God for my life because personally, I always believe in myself. That's just it. I always believe in myself, and I only use my own personal money to start off the work. Gradually, I'm selling. I go back to the studio, I buy materials, sell it gradually, and so on and so forth. So that is how I do it.
Valerie, welcome to the program. Good afternoon. You have a question for our guest? Please, when you call, try as much as you can to turn down the volume of your TV set, and we'll have this conversation. And yes, we allow calls like this because we encourage art in every stage. So if you're a young person watching, yes, you can send in your messages via our social media handles if the phone line is not going through for you. So yes, we're taking us through. Okay, so we need to go on this break, after which the program continues. Please stay with us. Back if you're just joining on the conversation. It's World of Art, and we have a serigraph printer with us on the program today, and we've been talking about serigraphy and in the world of art. Did you know serigraph is also a branch of art? Well, you'll get more on the program if you stay with us. So before we went on that break, we were talking about the finances, and we're still going to talk about that, but we just saw a video clip of how you do your work. And I think we need to go back to that. When you talk about printing, one would just imagine you do your work mechanically. You have machines that do this printing for you. But we just saw how you were doing this thing manually. So take us through the process of, making it come out this perfect without having to work with a machine or even trying to paint.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That is why I'm an artist.
Yes.
That is where creativity comes in.
Okay.
I'm using my endowed, so it's not difficult at all. You understand? So that is creativity. So it's very simple. I start by making my artwork. I have the plates. All this can be shown. I have my plates. After that, I make exposure to transfer the image onto the screen now, onto the mesh, onto the screen. After that, I go into printing. But then before that, I would have had my colors and everything on the table. So I know how I manipulate my things. It's not difficult at all. And I thought, that is studio work anyway. That is studio work. It's not difficult. Then I go ahead and print. It's very simple. I just go ahead and print and have my color scheme.
So when you were referring to plate, you meant that there was a net kind of...
No, that is not plate. Plate is the artwork that I expose. It's just like transferring an image onto the mesh. Oh. So we have the plate. The plate can come in form of film or making an artwork on tracing paper. those are the ones that I will transfer as an image onto that mesh. It is after that I can go into printing. I will go into the studio to go ahead and print.
So you do that for as many copies as you want. Even if you need like 200 copies.
Even if you need 1 million, it's not difficult. It's just a matter of time.
Ah, interesting. Okay, this serigraph printing, was it something you just decided to go to school to study? Because I do remember you said it's a branch of printing.
Printmaking.
Yes, so take us through the, okay, I think we have a caller. Femi, thank you for joining us. Lot of network jam. Please, you could also use the social media handles. You could send in your messages before we wrap up on the program. So yes, this serigraphy, is it a branch in school where you need to make a specialization? Because I know a lot of people are watching now and probably get inspired by what you're saying. So how do they know, how would they want to focus on this? Is this something you learned in school or you had to like leave the setting?
Okay, thank you. I have learned as an apprentice outside for 3.5 years.
You learned under a printer?
Exactly. I learned under a master in Lagos, and I graduated before I even went to the university. So I studied fine arts, but I'm majoring in graphics and painting. So under the graphics, we have the printmaking, and the printmaking, we have serigraph prints under printmaking. Yeah. So, but during my course of study in the university, I love printmaking and I love serigraph prints. I can't do without it. So when I'm almost through in the university, I took interest in developing that serigraph prints, and which have brought me to limelight. So I'm also into other areas, but I know most of my works are in serigraph prints.
I mean, you're passionate about
Exactly.
it. I believe you when you say that. From Facebook, we have Yenib is asking this from Lagos. How many more can it take to learn painting and serigraph?
3.5 years is okay.
3.5 years?
If you want to be better than me.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we have Femi back again. Thank you for joining us, Femi. Good afternoon. Please go ahead with your question.
Okay. It's not just a question. I want to comment Mr. Odo for the work that is doing. It's a very nice work.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then the work that is presenting is just the form of art to make every Nigerian have the art piece in their houses. Yeah,
I think we lost Muyiwa there. So yes, we're still talking about Yanni's question from Lagos, and you said 3.5 years. If it needs to be a professional, that's interesting. Yanni, I hope you get your answer to that. We also have Kola from Abuja. Kola is asking, do they teach painting in school, and how expensive is modern painting?
Well, yes, painting is taught in school. There is no problem about that. What you just need is to apply for fine arts, or find and apply that. Painting is just a part of visual arts. We have painting, we have sculpture, and so on and so forth. But the major thing is that get admitted to the university or polytechnic or college of education. From there, you take it off from there.
Unfortunately, time is not by our side. But as we wrap up, what's the relationship between serigraph printing and painting? Because these seem to be like close relations, especially for printed works. It's hard, it's easy to identify other mixed media, but serigraph and printing, is there some sort of relationship within them?
Yes. Both of them share images, pictures. That's just what I can say.
Okay, interesting. Now we have to go now. Your final words on the program for everyone watching, your Society of Nigerian Artists, and even the sponsors.
Yes. I would like to thank Engineer Yemishis, for sponsoring this program. He has been he has been doing so well. Then I thank my SNA member, Abekuta. I thank the crew here. You are doing wonderfully well. Ogtv, you are doing very well.
Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you so much.
This is how far we can go on the program World of Art. Trust you had a great time with us. The program continues next week, where we bring you another guest and we take a different look of visual art and how it affects our everyday lives. This program is brought to you by Prince Yemisi Shilon, legal practitioner, Africa's largest private art collector, grand donor and chairman of council, Yemisi Shilon Museum of Art. My name is Miriam Usman. See you next week.
Imagine this. Your friend says to you, "Hey man, look what my big bro sent to me. It appears there's an easy way to stop the virus from entering your body." And then you say, "Oh wow, please forward it to me, let me share." And then you send it to one person who sends it to other people and they share it with other people, all without verifying this information. This misinformation might get more people infected and lives lost. Now, imagine this. Your friend says to you, "Hey man, look what my big bro sent."